Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some new stuff to share with you guys. Actually, initially this video is going to be testing out some new makeup products that I got from two different brands. I'm talking about both face products and an eyeshadow palette. But then I swatched the first palette that I was planning to talk about today, and I was so impressed that I thought we would do a dedicated video to this palette, to this makeup brand, because I felt like rushing through just one look with this very beautiful palette would not do it justice. So we are going to put off those other makeup products for a couple of days, and today we are focusing on two things I picked up from Pat McGrath. I got their holiday palette, and I also got a little face palette from them, and I'm very excited to share them both with you guys today. I have used the face palette. I used the blush yesterday. I have not used the eyeshadows, but as I mentioned, I swatched them right before filming this video, and oh my goodness, you guys, these swatches are gorgeous. So we're gonna do two makeup looks with this palette today. I'll show you guys the face palette that I picked up and see what we can come up with. I hope that sounds like fun to you guys. Before we jump into the video, special welcome to those that are newly visiting my channel. Very happy to have you guys here. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, I hope you'll consider giving it a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe before you leave. And with that said, I'm very excited to show you guys this palette, so let's get to it. Alright you guys, I know this palette has been out for a little while. I've seen quite a few people already talk about it, but it was kind of a last minute decision or purchase for me. They did have a pretty good Black Friday sale, which is kind of what convinced me to take the plunge and pick this thing up. It is the Celestial Odyssey palette. Here is a look at the shades inside. I'm sorry about my lights, you guys. My diffuser on my left light ripped today, so I'm very, very bright on this side. I need to fix it, but I didn't have time to do it yet. So hopefully it's not gonna mess things up too much, but oh my goodness, you guys, this palette is stunning. I already did the swatches. I will insert them for you guys right here, including a closer look at the outside packaging. Take a look at these beautiful, beautiful shades. There's a lot of shimmer in here. There are only 4 mattes inside this palette, which is not very many considering there are 18 shadows, but I do think the mattes that they gave you are pretty good, pretty standard. I think for the most part you have your bases covered when it comes to the mattes. They gave you a dark matte brown, they gave you a lighter tan, but not too light. Also 2 variations of a pink. I think I would have maybe liked to see one more matte in there that was a little bit more on the cool tone. So maybe something a little bit more of like a cool tone brown or even some sort of like a dusty purple shade. But at the same time, the shimmers in here are all stunning. I don't know which one I would kick out if I had to replace it with a matte, so I'm not going to hold it too much against Pat McGrath. This thing is pretty pricey. Full price, it's $78. I got it for 25% off, which helped a little bit. And I did mention in my Black Friday video, I was a little concerned about the packaging of this, just knowing what Pat McGrath's regular mothership palettes are packaged like. They are extremely fancy and high-end. They're also very, very pricey, include a lot fewer shades in them, although these ones are not as large. This palette is some sort of cardboard packaging, but it feels really, really nice and well made. I was very happy to feel that as I first pulled this out and started kind of feeling it and playing with it. It feels very nice, very high quality for a cardboard package, and it is beautiful. Look how pretty their packaging is. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's absolutely stunning. I have very high hopes for this thing. We are going to try and do 2 eye looks with this one today, but first I want to show you guys the face palette that I picked up. Here is the face palette that I picked up. It's the Divine Blush and Glow Trio in Galactic Sun. It includes 2 blushes in here and 1 highlighter. I've swatched all of these. I did use a mixture of these 2 blushes on my cheeks yesterday. I was very impressed. They're very, very beautiful. I haven't yet used the highlighter on my skin. It is a little bit glittery as I was swatching it. That's definitely something to be aware of. It does have a good amount of glitter in it. It's very fine glitter, but it's glitter nonetheless. So I know there's a lot of you out there that are opposed to that, myself included sometimes. So we will try it out today. I'm going to give it a chance. We'll see what it looks like and how glittery it appears on the skin. But here's a closer look at the palette as well as the swatches of the 2 blushes and the highlighter. Hopefully you can make those out. I know it's a little bit harder for blushes and highlighters to show up in swatches. I still haven't mastered that, you guys. Going on 4 years at YouTube now, and I still feel like my swatches are a little bit underwhelming, but we'll get there. We'll get there someday. So I want to start off today with the blushes. I think I'm going to do what I did yesterday and combine the 2 blushes together because I'm not quite sure what I'm doing on the eyes yet. I'll probably do a mixture of something maybe a little more pink, something a little bit more cool toned or smoky, or maybe even green. So I think if we mix the 2 together, we'll go with just about anything. So let's start off in this right here with we'll take my rougher number 5 brush today. I'm just gonna take a little dab in both of those, tap it off. As I mentioned, I did use this yesterday and it was stunning. Really pretty blush formula. It does look like the one in the middle, the one that's kind of the more bronzy shade, has a little bit more of a sheen to it. Both have a subtle sheen to them. I wouldn't say shimmer by any means, but they do have a bit of sheen or glow to them, but it's really, really pretty. How beautiful that is. By the way, I do have the rest of my makeup on, as you probably could tell. I don't look like this without a little help. And I will link everything else that I'm wearing down below in case you're curious. And I do have bronzer on already. That's the color you're seeing right there. I will try these out at some point individually, but I love how they pair together. They make such a pretty natural color. And I just love the subtle, I don't know that I'd call it a sheen. It's just a really pretty finish. Okay, I might have gone a little heavy-handed, but that's okay. Usually I get done with a smoky eye and I think I don't have enough blush on, so take my clean sponge. All right, let's add some highlighter. And for that, I'm gonna go in with my Luxie brush that I can't remember the name of because it's worn off of the outside. I actually don't know if they make this brush anymore. I love my Luxie brushes. I have 2 of these highlighter brushes. I think they're so, so good. And we're gonna add this. Ooh, that's pretty. It's a very strong but nice gold undertone to it. Might be a little dark on me when I'm even more fair, but it's very, very pretty. Does emphasize some texture. I do have this little mark right here. Not a mark, actually. It's like a little raised bump. I don't know what it is, but it's been there for many, many months and I can't seem to get rid of it. But I do notice some highlighters will emphasize the texture on it. This is definitely doing that, but I still think it's pretty. Just be aware that it might be one that emphasizes texture more than some more subtle highlighters would. My lights are so bright. You guys see that shadow? I really need to fix that. That's very lazy of me. I haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna fix. Okay, so there is the blush, the highlighter. Hopefully you're picking that up. It is quite golden, but it's really pretty actually. I don't notice from this distance the glitter in it. It just looks very like a strong highlighter. It looks really nice. So far I'm really impressed. Now this thing is a little bit pricey. I can't remember what I paid for it. As I mentioned, I got both of these for 25% off. I think for my entire order I paid around $100, maybe just a little bit more. So certainly not cheap by any means, but you do get 2 really nice blushes and a pretty decent highlighter in there as well. So far so good. Very pricey, yes. Maybe this is one more appropriate for those of you that just have tons of money to burn this holiday season, or maybe you get a good Visa gift card or something, would like something nice. So I guess it'd be maybe a nice little gift to yourself if you like face products. Let's jump into the eyeshadow palette now. So here it is again. I'm leaning towards doing something really smoky. I really loved this black and this green. I don't know, are those gonna look weird together? I feel like that could be a really fun smoky eye. You do get some like purple and green sparkle in this black that I think would be really fun together. Maybe we'll try that. And then I also want to do something a little bit more pink. I love this shade right here. Very, very foiled and reflective. And it also has a bit of a duochrome to it, which I've mentioned I don't like on my face, but I love that on my eyes. This looks absolutely stunning. But let's start off with the smoky eye because this is the one I'm a little intimidated by. And I'm not sure I want to do my outro with a smoky eye just in case it doesn't work out. So I'm going to zoom you guys in just a hair and we'll get started. So as I mentioned, there are just 4 matte shades inside here, and they are this dark brown, this lighter pink, this lighter brown, and this deeper pink right there. That's all you get when it comes to mattes. We're going to start off by going into this light brown shade here. We'll do the pinks for the next look that we do. I do wish there was just one shade that was a bit lighter than these shades. I think the lighter pink will work just fine for me, but I'm a little bit worried that this brown is going to be a little deep if I'm not wanting to go super deep or if I just want to do something lighter. We'll see. Not bad. That's actually a pretty good shade. I was noticing while swatching these, I mentioned I wanted to try this palette out to see how some of the shade finishes compared to her full-size Mothership palette that I own. I own the Midnight Sun palette from her, and there are some absolutely stunning glittery sparkly shades inside there. This one does have a couple of those similar shades. I haven't pulled that one out yet. I'll have to do that soon and let you guys know how similar those formulas are in a different video, but I was very impressed with the variety of finishes in the shimmers inside this palette as I was swatching them. There's some really pretty, really sparkly finishes in here. So the black that I'm going to use, let me give it a little finger swatch. Very deep and dark, really beautiful, but this is probably going to have a lot of fallout, so I'm hoping that with the rest of my makeup done I can kind of do some damage control with my under eye area. Alright, so I think I'm going to start off by kind of tapping this black onto the outer half of the lid. I'm going to use, as I mentioned, this shade right here, and I'm going to take it on this flat brush. This is the number 21 brush from Rephr. You could use your finger, however I do think that sometimes a finger can be a little bit harder when working with a really dark shadow because it's harder to place the shadow where you want it. And with a shade this dark, I want to be really careful not to get it up on my brow bone there or up above my crease. This brush is just dry. If you really want things intense, you could wet your brush. Taking the very tip of this and running it lightly under this outer part of my lower lash line, just to connect the upper and lower together a little bit. That might not look very good yet, but we'll work on blending. I might even come back with the finger and tap a little bit on that outer half of the lid, just to make sure I have plenty of sparkle there. Finger's definitely going to help you get the maximum amount of shine. See my little plant there on my right side. I came down here yesterday to just get things cleaned. Yesterday was Sunday. I was just making sure it's clean and ready to go for filming on Monday, and I noticed that my plant was sitting there, but the reindeer had fallen on the floor, and the plant, I looked at the back portion of it and there was a whole chunk missing. Clearly it had fallen off. So I started to do some investigating. I was looking around and I found a small pile that someone had pushed back behind my garbage can of the plaster or concrete or whatever that's made out of. So I bring the plant upstairs, kind of shattered into a bunch of pieces, just trying to hold it together. And I asked my 11-year-old, "Did you do this? What happened?" And he looks at me and he says, "No." And I knew. Instantly I gave him a look, and then he kind of smiled and was like, okay, yes. Why is it that kids feel the need to initially try and lie when they know that you know? Like, all it took was one little look for me and he knew that he couldn't hide it anymore. I don't care who did it. It's not that big of a deal. The lying is a big deal to me though, so it's one of those messages that's so hard to get across to your kids. I was even really cool and calm about it. I didn't overreact. Okay, I know that looks a little bit bizarre right now, but I'm just gonna take a clean finger just to blend that little edge right there, kind of smudge it out so it's not so harsh when we go to overlap something on top of it. And now, there's so many pretty options in here, you guys, but I really want to try this green out. It's so vibrant and bright, but it's nice and light as well. That just looks like such a fun, beautiful shade, especially for Christmas time. So let's do it. Let's add this one. Hopefully they'll go together. If not, well, we're just gonna wash this one off in a few minutes. So, oh wow, that is a pretty shade. Look at that. It's like a Christmas green mixed with a lime green. So beautiful. That's stunning. It is super vibrant, but that's okay. I'm not too upset about it. I'm gonna take this, actually let's take this little brush right here. This is the number 13. I just wiped it off. Haven't used it yet, but it's not clean necessarily because I've been using these for a while. It's probably about time I wash my rougher brushes. Just taking this around the edge of this really dark shade just to make sure those lines aren't harsh. I kind of want to take a little bit of that green right under the center of my lower lash line. So I'm going to actually wet this little brush. Okay, now for the inner corner. We could take the highlighter I used today, but I do want to use this shade right here. This is the lightest shade in the palette. It's one of the shades that reminds me of her special formula in her Midnight Sun palette. And actually, I want to do this one with a brush. I want to be a little bit more precise. I'm also going to wet the tip of this brush. This is the rougher number 3. Such a good inner corner brush, by the way. And we're going to dip it into that champagne very lightly. And then I'm going to tap that just right, kind of on the inner tear duct. Pull it in towards that green, and then I'm going to take my finger and kind of drag it right over that front edge. I think that looks good. I'm gonna add a little bit of mascara. Let's take for today, since I'm gonna be washing this off, we're gonna take my Perversion mascara from Urban Decay. Not my favorite mascara in the world, but I like this one so much if I'm doing another eye look because it comes off so easy. So I'm gonna add a couple coats of this. I will come back and show you guys the final look, and then we'll move into look number 2. All right, guys, and here is finished eye look number 1. I love how this one turned out. That is gonna be such a fun green to play with this holiday season. I was trying to think, do I have any fun Christmas parties coming up? I'm pretty sure the answer to that is no, but we do get together with my family on Christmas Eve, so I'll definitely be wearing something along these lines on Christmas Eve with the family, even if I am wearing my pajamas. Very happy with everything though. I love how that matte shade went on. I feel like that's gonna be perfect for just about any of the other shimmers inside here, any look that I would create. And I absolutely love this green shade. Look how beautiful that is. I don't know that the vibrancy is really coming across on camera. In person, I do think it, like that green is quite bold, but super pretty as well. And it pairs really nicely with that black that has that little bit of like a blue and green multi-dimensional sparkle. Very fun look. Let me know what you guys think of it. I am going to head up and sadly wash this one off, and then we'll jump in to do look number 2. Alright guys, we are back for look number 2. This time I really want to focus on a lot of these beautiful pinks, maybe this dark brown right here. I'm not 100% sure what direction we're going to go, but I do want to start off with this lighter pink matte shade right here, again with the Rephr number 16 brush. Now this shade is lighter, but it does have a stronger pink, like more bright, vibrant pink tone to it. The other one is a little bit deeper, but it's more of like a mauve-y sort of pink. Probably layer these two shades together. Hopefully this will work okay. My eyes are a little bit watery, so I hope that they cooperate. We're now going to take the number 13 brush, a smaller blending brush. We're going to go in with that darker, this pink shade right here. Again, this one's a matte. This one I want to place a little bit more directly in my actual crease. And we're also going to run this one kind of along the lash line and pull it below the lower lash line a little bit. Just about halfway. Now I want to add a little bit more depth to the outer corner with this deep matte brown right here. Again with the number 13 brush. And kind of do what I did with that darker pink. Just layer this one on top, and I'm going to put most of it right at the lash line. And then blend up and in, and lightly, very lightly down below. I love when a rich shade like that blends really well. Now I'm going to take my ring finger. I'm going to take this more vibrant pink right here. We're going to tap that just on the outer half of the lid, slightly over where I put those matte shades, but I'm not taking it all the way into the corner. This shade is more of a traditional kind of metallic shimmer. It's not quite as foiled and sparkly. But the next shade that we're going to use is very foiled and sparkly, and that is this one right here in the corner. So I know this palette is upside down. We're talking this one right here. These do have names, by the way. This is called Heavenly Body. It is beautiful. Look how pretty that shade is. It's a really beautiful kind of golden shell pink. I'm going to take my finger and we're going to go into this champagne shade again and very lightly overlap just the inner part of the lid. Alright, that looks great. Let's go with a little bit of liner. I'm going to use my BH Cosmetics black gel liner. I'm going to add a little bit of this, and then I'm going to put on a couple of coats of my Essence Lash Princess mascara. Then I'll be back with you guys to share the final look and my final thoughts on this palette. Alright guys, here you have it. Look number 2 completed with liner and mascara. What do you guys think? Which one did you like better? I don't know that I can pick. I think they're both absolutely stunning. This is a gorgeous palette. I cannot wait to try every single shade out inside here. It is very pricey. $78 full price, I know, is so crazy expensive. A couple of years ago, I never would have bought an eyeshadow palette like this. I probably never would have looked twice at a palette this expensive. So I get that it's not going to be for everyone. My hopes are that in a couple of days, I'll have a good affordable palette that has a lot of variety inside of it when I do my BH Cosmetics video coming up in a few days. I am very excited to try out that palette. I haven't opened it yet. We're going to do it together. But I can't deny, so far I'm kind of in love with this thing. I think it's beautiful. If you're not into shimmers, completely skip this one because you get a lot of shimmers inside here. But you guys know how I feel about my shimmer shadows. They are my favorite finish. I love a beautiful shimmery lid. I love a lot of sparkle. And I love a little bit of color, and this gives you all of those things. So very happy about this one. I'm happy that I decided to go with this one. I will try and keep using it and keep you guys posted if my thoughts change or if I have anything else to add. But so far so good. Everything worked wonderfully for me today. I think I used every single matte shade inside the palette, and all the shimmers seem to be amazing. As far as the face palette, I'm pretty excited about this one as well. I was on the fence about this. I don't know why I ended up throwing this into my bag. I've never really been that interested in the Pat McGrath face products. I know there's a lot of people that love them. I don't know, you guys. It's as someone that buys way too many eyeshadow palettes, I have to talk myself out of buying some things, and that usually is what ends up happening with face palettes and that type of thing. But I'm pretty happy with this. I think these blushes are absolutely stunning. The The highlighter I think is beautiful. It does emphasize a little bit of texture, but I do think it's really pretty. And the packaging of these is absolutely stunning. So those are kind of my final thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy holidays coming up. I am so ready for the holidays. Just got my house decorated for Christmas. And more than that, I have some really fun holiday videos coming your way. So let that be a reminder to subscribe before you leave if you haven't done that yet. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks again. I will see you all in my next video. Bye. What about Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You? Do you love it? Do you hate it? I feel like there's very polarizing opinions on that song. I'm generally more of a kind of traditional, softer, old-fashioned kind of Christmas music kind of girl. Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, Johnny Mathis. Oh, that's a good one. Want to show them what look you did, Charlie? You put, what color did you put on the top? Choose my color, Pop Shadows. Oh, that's pretty. What do you call this look? My brother's got me.
No.
My brother's punched me in the face. I like it.